Okay, so we're starting with DuPont analysis. So uh, DuPont analysis breaks down the profitability ratios into their components. So in this case, ROA or return on assets. Um, the you recall that ROA is net income divided by total assets. Well, we can break that down into net profit margin, which was net income divided by sales multiplied by total asset turnover, which sales divided by total assets. So this, what this does, and we'll take it to another level here in a second. It gives us an idea of where those profits are coming from. So the so here we see that net profit margin is 3.6%, and we see that asset turnover is 1.8 basically. So that multiply those two together, we get 6.4%, which is exactly what we would have gotten. We got when we calculated ROA previously. So now we move on to ROE or return on equity. So the ROE is equal to ROA times the equity multiplier, which RO doesn't want to let me write. Anyway, ROA is net income divided by total assets, equity multiplier, total assets divided by common equity. There are a couple of different ways to calculate the equity multiplier. If you watch the videos, you will see those. To watch the videos for the problems. So recall our ROA was 6.4% equity multiplier. I think to me, in my mind, equity multiplier is kind of misnamed. It's actually it's total assets divided by common equity. We can. I mentioned there's other ways to calculate it. We can also get the same number. It'll probably. Let me see. Okay, now so 1 divided by the percent. That's supposed to be a percent common equity. Will give us the same number, or 1 divided by 1 minus the debt ratio. So those are the 3 different ways to calculate your equity multiplier. As I said, I believe it's misnamed. In my mind, it's the debt multiplier because it's how the firm's use of debt is driving the returns of the firm, in my mind. So we can further break down the return on equity. We'll see this again in the next slide. If you recall that ROA is equal to profit margin times total asset turnover from the original DuPont identity. We can break this out into 3 components. So we can break down the return on equity to profit margin, total asset turnover, and equity multiplier. So and again, it gives us an idea of what components are driving the firm's profitability. I would encourage you to become very familiar with this relationship. There will be problems on the exam where you will be expected to use DuPont analysis to answer questions. There are problems in the homework where you will be expected to do so as well. There are many examples on the lecture, the problems that I've posted here as well. DuPont equation provides an overview. Firm's profitability as measured by ROA, firm's expense control as measured by profit margin, firm's asset utilization as measured by total asset turnover. So, limits or limitations of financial statement analysis. Comparisons with industry average is difficult. The firm may have different divisions. They may operate very differently. They may operate in a different segment of that business. Sometimes some segments of industries can be highly profitable and others be less profitable, depending. The industry average may not be some magic number that everybody needs to achieve. Inflation can distort balance sheets. Seasonal factors can distort them. The window dressing can make financial ratios look better than they actually are. Different operating and accounting practices can also distort comparisons. We mentioned FIFO and LIFO, for example, at the beginning of this chapter. So it can be hard to tell whether a ratio is bad or good. So it can be difficult tell whether a company is on balance, strong, weak position. You just never know with regard. So finally, the most important as well as the most difficult ingredient of successful financial statement analysis is your judgment. So truthfully, that's, if you really want to think about it, as far as what your judgment and your ability to think are probably as important as anything with regard to your future in business. The most valuable employee is one who's able to think, one who's able to analyze situations. The companies can always go out and find somebody who can execute various activities, but what they're going to pay for and reward you for is that ability to think, ability to analyze and understand situations. So that is the end of chapter 2.